Introducing Hardee's $5 All-Star Meals. Loaded with satisfying classics. For just $5, you get a charbroiled double cheeseburger hot dog and, oh yeah, fries, drink, and a fresh baked cookie. Or a double cheeseburger, a spicy chicken sandwich, and what? The fries, drink, cookie thing again? Or hand-breaded tenders and, spoiler alert, fries, drinks, and cookies for days, y'all. All for just $5. The $5 All-Star Meals. Stop by Hardee's and get yourself one today. Price of participation may vary. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Tax not included.
Hey everybody, welcome to Paranormal Connections radio show. I'm your host, Christina George, along with a special co-host tonight. Ghost tonight with me.
I'll go stretch your show.
There you go. Tony Sokol. And for anybody who follows my show, you will remember that name. Tony has been on a few of my shows now. We've talked about everything from haunted dolls to vampires to upcoming shows. We've got all kinds of interesting array of things that we can talk about when it's you and I, Tony. So happy pre-Halloween, Halloween
Happy
Eve.
Halloween Eve, yes. I usually do shows. I'm usually the Igor for Marie Vargas, the Hollywood Witch. We do Dark Workers and Style Coven.
Yes, and you guys are going to.
I'm sure she wishes you a happy Halloween's Eve as well.
She's actually messaging me right as we speak.
Oh, look at that. It's a
Okay.
psychic connection. So shut up.
All right. Joe just watched the switchboard. Our guest for the part of the night is occupied right now, so she is going to take her place to talk a little bit about it before we're joined by our guest. And so once she's there, just go ahead and drop her in, Joe.
We're talking to a werewolf tonight?
Yes. I mean, man, I never thought that this was going to be the show. I'll tell you, people think that I like pre-planned shows, and I just put so much thought. Like they sometimes are spur of the moment. Like I purposely leave at least one slot a month because I usually do book out about 2 months ahead. But I think of all kinds of different topics and people that I want to talk to, and I'm like, okay, I'll talk about that, and that's just kind of how it goes. And tonight we originally were going to have you and Marie on the show, and we changed things because you guys are postponing the grand reveal of your guys' new show. So last minute we decided, okay, I can do that. It's Halloween. I got to think of something super creepy. I was actually just going to take a day off, but everybody kept saying, no, it's Halloween. Like, how are you going to be able to take the night off? So I decided vampires. Why not vampires?
Christina?
Oh, there she is. Hey, girl.
Girl, I'm here with Elizabeth at an undisclosed location. Do you still need us? Because Elizabeth's eating the bellboy.
Hello, Marie.
Okay, so Gia just messaged me and she said she is on Skype now. Hold on.
Oh, good. Elizabeth, give me another drink. I'm thirsty. Okay. Well, how did that guy get it for us? The cute one. Oh, he's still alive? A little bit. Take him a little bit. I'm sorry, Elizabeth and I are eating producers. How do you get a deal in Hollywood? If you like.
All right, let's see if we can get her
order
on.
a pizza. Order a pizza. Let's get some fresh blood in here. Questions? I know. I know. For naughty producers. Yes, for naughty producers. Yes. Okay, so we're eating naughty producers in Hollywood, and you?
Well, I am trying to figure this show out. So, Gia, do we have you on the line? Maybe not.
Gio?
Oh,
Gia.
nope,
Gia?
not yet. Okay, not yet. Shows that she's busy, so.
Tie that young man down. I don't like the way he's moving.
Maria and Elizabeth, I wanted to ask, what is your favorite
God,
werewolf
give
movie?
me that whip, you bitch.
Oh,
Okay,
she's
is she
on one
on the phone
tonight.
yet?
No. Okay, hold on. Now maybe. Let me try again.
Is
Oh,
that
no, it
room
says
service?
she's offline.
Oh, ow. Get the door. I think they're bringing us some more bubbly. Wait.
Oh, see,
Sounds like,
that's
it
not
sounds like
any
ad fad.
fair. It's not any fair
What?
that you guys are drinking. I so said, like, after the
She
night
wanted
that I've
tequila.
had, I really need a shot of tequila. So I think at the break, everybody's gonna know my weakness, but I think I'm gonna have to go. I can't just be sitting here and not let you drink alone. What kind of Halloween party is that?
Oh, wait a minute. We have a bottle with a picture of a chihuahua on it. Here, open this. I know.
Is it a
Open this
vampire
up.
chihuahua?
You were chilling it in the bellboy. Get that young man out of the tub. Oh, my goodness. How many young men do you have in here anyway? I can't. I lost count. There's forks everywhere. I don't know. Oh, damn it. It's the perfect man. Come on.
I am
Oh, my
sure that
God.
we could sit and listen to you two and laugh all night. But we're going to try to get on topic.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
what are we talking about? Vampires?
We are
actually, we
talking
started with
about
werewolves.
We thought you were talking about vampires.
Yes, we
We're not
are going
talking
to talk
about
about vampires, and Gia just signed on, so let me add her to this call.
Okay, so listen, we're going to go back to our eating. Love you. Love everybody.
Okay. Call in if you
Bye.
need.
Thank you, darling. Oh, my goodness. Goodbye.
Bye, Vampira.
Bye.
All right, Joe, I'm trying to drop her in the
She's
call.
Vampira.
It shouldn't be this hard. It shows she's on.
No, but we can wait and talk about werewolves while she's popping in.
So that, yes. Okay, so that was the other
So what?
thing. So the whole werewolf thing. Joe, I need you to.
Transform right now. It's a full moon. We need you to transform now. I want you to sprout hairs
Okay,
and bring in bring Gia here.
I know something's not working for me today. Joe, are you able to see this and help me with Skype? All right. Well, we keep trying to get a hold of our guest. We're going to talk about the vampires. So, as I was saying, so last minute we had to change everything. I decided, okay, last week we were talking about vampires and the BDSM communities and just all kinds of interesting things. I learned a lot. I didn't realize there were real vampire hunters. I thought it was just from the movies. I didn't even really realize that there was real people who live as vampire. Again, it just I guess it's a lot unless you're in like just like the paranormal field. If there's a lot that you don't understand if you're really not in the paranormal field and you just look at it from afar. So you don't really have anything to compare it to.
Right.
So it was very interesting. So, of course, who do I call if I need something dark? Voodoo specialist, hoodoo specialist, vampires, and now werewolves. People who do blood
Don't forget the
rituals.
cannibals and the
Oh, cannibals. That's right. I mean, man,
soup. What was that soup we were gonna make? We're gonna make a special soup, I believe.
Oh yeah, spirit cooking, like satanic, worship. Like, boy, oh boy, Tony, between you and Marie, I don't know who is the better. I think you both
she's
on
on the
both
West Coast.
sides, right? If on both sides, you guys have so many connections that I don't have in the dark world, and so not only was it amazing that we get to talk about vampires and we get to talk about blood rituals and everything, but we get to talk tonight to an actual, well, reported to be real life werewolf. Now, who gets something like that on the night before Halloween?
You do. You do because you are who you are.
Man, do we have a full moon tonight or tomorrow? Like I feel like the moon is something's just causing interference because it just doesn't want me to talk about this tonight. I just don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, let's first start with what is your favorite werewolf movie?
I like the old school ones. Like,
Yes.
like that's like to me, those were like the real scary ones. Like when my kids were young, it was like Teen Wolf and stuff. Like I was like, what's so scary about him? Like,
That's
and
Michael J.
then
Fox's best movie.
oh, I know, but I mean, and then we have, the whole love drama on True Blood. Yeah, I mean, man, it just took everything away. Like it was not like the old school ones that really had you scared of this kind of stuff.
Now, my favorite vampire werewolf transformation is actually in a comedy. In Abbott and Costello Meet
Hello?
Frankenstein, the werewolf.
Oh,
Hello,
is that
Gia.
yeah?
Did it finally
I missed
work?
you.
Yes, it did.
Yes,
Thank you.
and we've missed you
I'm
terribly.
sorry.
Not a problem.
I'm
So I take it you are at the VIP after party.
I am at the castle currently
The
doing my makeup,
castle.
getting ready to go out.
Oh my
Ah,
goodness. I cannot wait till. So, for people who don't know, we are actually going to have a special live stream session a little later on in the show. And let me get out of all these things. I don't even know why I have all of them up. But again, our guest with us tonight is Lady Gia Bathory. And she's actually going to
the
be
Queen,
live stream. Well,
Queen of
yeah,
Tempest.
Queen. Oh my goodness! See, I get so scared when I talk about it. Like I'm so excited, but yet I'm like mixed with so much fear after last week's show. Do you know that you guys actually had me like I had like these crazy nightmare right after
Gia
the
is
show?
not like Larry. Gia is not like Larry and me.
Whew.
Gia is not frightening at all. Only she represents
Only if I need to be.
Oh my
if she needs
goodness!
to be. She's not like me and Larry. We scared you. I know we scared you. You don't want to talk about those things. But
Yes, you
Gia
do.
talks about
I know
wonderful.
you do. And
Oh,
she
I said you don't.
I got yeah, I never want to, but guess it's the role of a radio show host. But my goodness, I just talking to her this morning, it was so amazing. I got to see inside the castle. Spectacular. I can't say enough. But then I heard that like she likes to bathe in blood and wine, and then my heart started palpitating a little bit, and I'm just like, what of all people, me, the one who's not scared of the dead, not scared of anything paranormal. But when it comes to these
Bathing.
topics, yes, like I feel like I'm gonna, you know what? I do think I know what it is. And it was, to be absolutely honest, it was a topic I covered for a few years from like 2012 of an extreme haunt. And that's the first time that I actually met people who were in the vampire culture as well as the BDSM culture, and I learned so much that my poor little mind shouldn't even have been allowed to have that much information. And it has scared me from there forward. Every time I go into, I told you when I went to the zombie thing and it had the dungeon, I was just waiting for somebody to spike my drink, and I was end up in a cage in somebody's basement. I just knew it. And that was zombies. And then my first experience with a vampire ball, I told you, good friend of mine was putting it on, and I was didn't get told I was going to be the main character, and I thought, oh, this is great, right? Is True Blood. I found it. Remember, it was True Blood. Was the whole premise of it, and so I thought, oh, how bad can this be? I'll have an acting role. So I went in for the rehearsal, and that's when I was told that they were actually going to tear my dress off me and leave me nude so that they could have like this feeding frenzy orgy kind of thing all over me. And I
And you
think
say
I've
that
been
like it's a bad
traumatized
thing.
ever since.
Right? I was like, that sounds fun.
See,
Yeah.
and that's exactly
Gia,
how
tell us
last week's
about
show started. That's why I'm afraid.
Gia, tell us about some of what's happening. What's going to be happening like that at the ball, and what's going to be happening unlike that at the ball.
Well, at the moment, the ball is kind of starting up a little bit. We had a bit of a slow start, and I took forever in the shower. But which, if Christina saw the shower today, so
I
she knows
did.
why it took forever. It's beautiful. Um, yeah, I took forever. So we're starting a little bit late, but we are first of all, first and foremost tonight we are doing a ritual with Sahaja, with Goddess Rosemary, as she is here currently, and High Elder Walter Warlock. We will be doing King Maven Lore's initiation into the folds of Sahaja. And we will be doing the opening ceremony where she will be presenting Maven with some gifts. And then we will be doing, having live music from Christine Young, who was on the Vampire the Masquerade soundtrack. She has a new album out right now that's called Live from the Witch's Tit. And it's absolutely wonderful. I've been a fan of her music since the 90s. And last night, she was at the Bloodlust Ball performing last night, and I heard her start to sing my favorite song by her. And so I ran outside, and I ran in from outside, and everybody kept coming up to me and asking me production questions. And I was like, fuck off. Not happening. I'm busy. I've been waiting since 99 to hear this song. So
this one song.
yeah, so she'll be there, or here rather. So that will be going on. We will also be having this drag queen that we know. Her name is Brandy Taylor Andrews, and she is absolutely amazing. She was at the Bloodlust Ball last night and tore the house up, of course. She will be here, as well as myself. And we will be doing some performances. Her and I both do burlesque and cabaret. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Okay, I got to stop you right there. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I want to hear
I'm
about
sorry, was
this.
I rambling?
No.
No, we want to know everything.
Yes, and because again, this is like bringing back flashbacks. Like I've got PTSD from going to this damn zombie club event that after hours party. So there were people doing burlesque. Now, do you have blood involved in this burlesque dance by chance?
Sometimes.
Oh my goodness! See,
Or do you have taro syrup with 3 parts of red dye and 2 parts of green?
Well, whatever
Sometimes
works.
we have blood. I don't think there's going to be any blood tonight because the castle needs to be clean. But a lot of times there is. Last night, actually, we had a bunch of bloody burlesque. We had nuns at the monastery that were covered in blood and doing all sorts of nefarious things on stage.
See, I think I was in like some vampire / zombie event because like I had all these women, then like they had like 1 minute were dressed like in a costume, and the next minute they just had like straps everywhere, and they had horns on their head, and they had inverted crosses, and they were putting blood all over them. And
why didn't wasn't I there?
I felt like, and here I am dressed as Wednesday of the Addams Family, looking like a sheep ready to be slaughtered or a virgin ready to be sacrificed. And I just looked so out of place. I had no idea what I walked into. Nothing. But I'm starting to understand a little bit more every time I do a show.
It's weird to be a freak among the freaks.
Well, I've always been a freak. I guess I just wasn't that. Well, I don't know. I can't even say that. When I was younger, I really, 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 really wanted a friend to sleep in. And I really was into the whole vampire culture. And it was just kind of weird because then I had no friends. And so I ended up like meeting some goth girls, and like they kind of accepted me, but they were like into witchcraft, and that scared me. And I got a Ouija board
They were
issue
into
from
witchcraft,
them.
and that scared me.
Yes, it's all that. That's why I keep a lot of witchy friends and people like Tony that know all kinds of voodoo and hoodoo people, just in case somebody decides they want to put a curse on me. Somebody that I know will know what to do to help me.
Or break their shoes.
Whatever you gotta do, just hey. At least I felt better knowing that somebody couldn't make a voodoo doll out of me without like some of my hair or something. So at least all my haters are far away. They're never gonna get that. I'm
I don't think that
keeping this
Gia
hair
would need
forever.
that. I'm not sure if Gia would need that. We've discussed some of her spiritual practices, and I know that she's rather adept at just.
The outfit look okay.
Oh, actually, she can't hear me, so I'm doing a lead-in for nothing.
Nice.
Sorry, I was trying to do it.
I don't know what else you have.
I'm sorry. You'll have to forgive me. I'm running around getting
That's-
dressed asking you.
It's
No,
okay.
that's okay. I was doing a lead-in for you. We were talking about certain things that people can do without using a voodoo doll, and things that we can do with our intent. And I believe that you're pretty good at using your intent in magic, aren't you? Gia?
Am I what?
Are you good at using intent in magic? You don't need to cast a spell. You don't need a doll. You don't need a figure. You can do it
No,
with
it's
intent.
all about intent. It's
You're
all about intent.
ruining it for me, Gia.
The
It's
reason
not
that-
Go
ruining
ahead.
it. They're making it easier.
Yeah, those things are all there as focal points to help you understand what it is you're doing and help you get a better idea of where you should focus your energies and how everything works. And it's not as much a necessity as it is sort of a stepping stone to help you along the way.
Well,
Wonderful.
see, I thought that, they could only put like some curse on me using a voodoo doll if they had my hair. So well, see, now I've met Gia. See, I just meet more and more people that if somebody just decides to come after me, at least I'll know the right people to ask. Because me, I just be over here worried. All
Well,
right,
you have
Gia.
this
So
on your
I
side.
know that. Yeah, exactly. I know that one of the things that was told to me by Marie, as well as we were talking about earlier, is you are actually like a blood sorceress. Like you do blood rituals, correct?
Correct.
Now, for my paranormal world out there that full of listeners that might not understand that, why don't you give us a little bit background what that means and what it is?
Well, going back to the dawn of time, people have used blood for different rituals and purposes, and it's always been considered something that was holy. We just take that a step further and use the energy in the blood itself for various purposes. Basically, what happens is the blood energy that people get during feeding. That is something that is inherent in the blood itself. It's not necessarily only blood works, or you can only get it through blood. You can get that same energy through bathing in the blood, through having sex with someone who's, covered in blood, just whatever the case may be. It's the contact, it's the connection with it that makes a difference. That makes it something more than just a liquid that's going on your body or in your body or whatever the case may be.
Wow.
It's in particular, if you're wanting me to describe what goes on for a blood ritual, usually you have an, of course, willing participant that will donate their blood for the bath, and then you find a lovely bathtub, much like the one that I currently have. And you mix the blood with the water. It helps it to keep from coagulating because, nobody wants that in their drain. And then you bathe and soak in it. You call upon the different deities that you're dealing with, whoever they may be. And you infuse yourself with the vitality therein.
Do you also use herbs?
Yes, I use nightshade, actually.
Okay.
I use wine and nightshade.
And a little wine.
Huh?
And a little wine for good measure, right?
That's a little wine.
Well, what does the wine do?
That's just
It
because
tastes
I'm a
delicious.
Dionysian and I'm a worshiper of Bacchus. So that's more just a personal thing. I always try to connect everything to Dionysus somehow, one way or another.
Now, you talk about you have a donor. Now, how much blood do you actually use in these baths?
Well, it honestly, it just depends on the bath itself. Sometimes it's a lot. It really depends on how big the bathtub is. Sometimes it's a lot. A lot of times it's just a small amount. If you're just doing like a facial remedy or something like that, it's just a small amount. Sometimes it's a lot, but never enough that it could kill them or harm them seriously.
She said seriously. Oh, jeez.
Right. So there's 2 quarts of blood in
So
the
it might
body.
hurt him, just not seriously.
So
Yeah, a little
yeah,
bit.
that hurts a little bit.
But a lot of times they're into that. So,
I
That's why
believe it.
they wouldn't
I completely
they would
believe it at this point.
they wouldn't be offering it if they weren't okay with it. That's basically what it comes
this is
down to.
absolutely true. Absolutely true.
That is true. And there's a lot of people. Again, the more and more that I look into this topic, a lot more I learn. And just by talking to different people. And yes, they they are willing. This is what they're into.
Now,
I
and
I
that's
mean, well, I want to ask about the whole drinking of the blood or feeding off of somebody's blood because, again, I learned a lot last week, and I did learn that there are people in vampire culture that do drink blood and do drink blood from donors. Now, I also found out it's something that people don't like to talk about in that whole
Yes,
culture.
we
They don't like to talk
actually,
about live about it.
yeah, we actually have a rule about discussing that because we don't publicly condone the ingestion of blood, be it willing or unwilling. You'll be pretty hard pressed to find real members of the VC that will actually discuss it.
right. I'll be bringing you people from outside of the VC. She's talking to me about actually being on the show. There are vampires outside of the VC that are that do not have these restrictions as far as what they can say. They don't represent houses. They don't represent. They don't even consider themselves rogues. They are just what they are.
Gotcha.
Now, before there were houses, Gia was also practicing magic. Now, tell us a little bit about some of the other types of blood ritual that you might be doing, because you don't. Here's the thing: you're thinking that we have to desanguinate somebody. You don't have to desanguinate somebody. Tell them how. Tell them what goes on. Gia, tell them
uh, well,
in an actual ritual.
in an actual ritual, if you're talking about something other than the bloodbath,
Right. Something
with
you don't have
with
to use it.
thermaturgy. Now, are you talking about Sahaja rituals, or are you talking about thermaturgy that I do?
What do you do?
Okay.
We'll talk. Yeah. It's your
Yeah, because
specialty.
I can't talk about some of the Sahaja stuff.
Right.
As far as just the things that we do in particular, one thing. Hold on. Here's your Queen's Heart brooch. Right lapel. One of the things that we do, as far as blood magic goes, is an exchange of life essence. You can take the life essence from someone and bring it into yourself, but you do this without them knowing it. They're not involved in it. They're not necessarily willing. You can do this from a distance. You can do this up close. You can do this with a touch. It just depends on the person and how they're doing it.
Now, you don't have to be a vampire to do this. This is something that is actually inherent in the psyche.
Correct.
And yes, people can access this. I was talking to someone at the New Life Expo who did something called orgasm meditation, and she was able, because of her practice, she was able to do very much the same thing from a completely different background. So also tell us about some of the more ornate rituals that might be done. There's other uses of blood that are more ceremonial.
Fine. Hold on one second. What?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Keep setting her up at the wrong time.
I'm so sorry. I'm
okay.
trying to. Him and I both are trying to get ready right now, and so he was just asking me about his brooch.
Would you like us to give you, say, the next 20 minutes so that you guys can finish getting ready in peace, and then we can call you back at the break?
That would be wonderful. Are you sure you can do that?
Of course. Look, me and Tony can talk about all kinds of things until then.
Of
No,
course,
it's no problem whatsoever.
but we'll
Okay, we'll
find a
do that.
werewolf.
And I'll expect a call from you in about 20 minutes then.
Perfect. We'll see you then.
All right.
Okay.
We'll be ready for
Okay.
video then too.
Perfect.
All right, bye.
All right.
Well, what a shame. I was hoping to get to ask her more questions because it's more fun.
Well,
So
it'll be good. I mean, I think that she's got a party to host, and they're trying to get downstairs and live stream for us. So I knew it was going to be kind of hard. And originally, we were going to have her friend, who is the werewolf, come and do the first hour. But since they're both kind of falling behind, and this was last minute, and they're trying to get ready, gives us a little bit of time to kind of give a idea of and discuss other things until they get back. But I think that way we'll be able to see the video, we'll be able to see the end result, we'll be able to see inside the castle, the people that are there. I think it'll be a great second hour.
So what do you know about this werewolf?
Not much.
Is
This is gonna.
not much.
No, not much. Marie was talking to Gia, and she was talking about her friend, and well, I guess I'll let her, introduce him or whatever he is. But she explained that he is a werewolf, and Marie said, "Werewolf?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Oh, well, then I definitely would be perfect to be on the show. I mean, right?
Werewolves. Yeah.
I
All we need
mean,
is a mummy.
that's right. Well, I feel like a mummy right now, but that's all I can say. Maybe you know this, because I know you know a lot about the stuff with the blood rituals. But Story Spirit for you in chat. She's from the Bahama Islands, the Cayman Islands, actually. She wants to know that can it make you look younger?
Okay, actually, I'm really glad you asked that because one of the we're going to be having on is someone called the blood sorceress Cagliostro. And she actually, I suggest you look her up, Google her, find her. She talks about it on video, and she's been talking about it on the radio. She was going to be talking about it with us. She's written a book on specifically how to use blood to keep yourself looking young. This goes all the way back to, it probably goes back to before recorded time, but the first real instance of it is Elizabeth Bathory in the 1600s. I think she was in Hungary. I'm not doing this without notes, but she used to bathe in the blood of her servants, and she believed that it kept her young. They judged her crazy, and they sort of walled her up. Actually, literally, they put her on a wall. But her belief was that bathing in blood. There is also the tradition of the afterbirth of having that it is a restorative. It's restorative properties. It has restorative properties. So yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
And I would think so. Well, I never knew. I mean, the first time I'd ever heard about a blood facial was when I saw like some article online come across my feed about how the Kim Kardashian gets them. And it had like a little video of her going and getting one. And that was the whole premise, is it's supposed to keep you young. Now, I don't know, if I'm just going to go sacrifice some animal out in the backyard and then use it for a facial. I'm sure it's probably got some other properties. And if it's, I don't know. So see, again, I'm no expert. I don't know anything about this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's also, you see, there's butcher shops and there's delis, and not delis so much, but butcher shops. There's slaughterhouses. There's places that you can probably get them. I'm going completely off. I'm suggesting criminal acts. So here we go. If you're going to go with it all the way.
Yeah, we should say, well, say goodbye, Botox. Here comes blood sacrifice. Oh, I'm turning my listeners. What is going on?
See, we'll all meet you on Dial Island.
That will never happen. You might be able at some point to turn me to the dark side. Probably wouldn't take too much, but I don't think I will ever make it to Doll Island. I've been to Mexico actually plenty of times, deep into Mexico, like deep into Mexico. And yeah, Christina's not going anywhere near Doll Island. I'm so okay not doing that. Again, it's funny because people get such a bunch of laughter, when they listen to my shows, because here, when I'm in the paranormal, or anybody that's followed me, or they've been to one of the events or the public investigations that we do, if people are scared or people are running, like, that's exactly where I'm headed, and I want to go and see what's going on. None of that stuff scares me.
Except for the
But
Valley of the Dolls.
yeah, but well, yeah, dolls have always scared me. I'm not gonna lie. That's the one thing of the paranormal that no matter what, like, that's a childhood scare. That has nothing to do with anything else other than the creepy, and they should not have ever been made as something to entertain little girls that have psychic abilities.
So, are you afraid of werewolves?
No,
Are you afraid of the people that become werewolves?
I might be. See, I'm not
Aha!
afraid of the ones I see on TV, but once I know somebody can, like, might actually be able to do that. Now, see, my thing is it like, does he just believe, just like a lot of the people in the vampire culture, it's not like they, like, grow fangs and they go and bite everybody's neck like we saw in Count Dracula. They live that lifestyle, and it
Well, I'm interested to find out whether or not it's ethnically based. If it's something like, if he actually believes, if he is lycanthropy, if it's lycanthropy, or if it's some sort of a spiritual thing, or it's actually sort of a shape shifting thing, or
exactly.
if it's a mental, if it's something, a state of mind that he gets into that is very animalistic. If he actually can communicate with the animals, walk and talk with the animals, um, be be the Doctor Doolittle of the Wolfmen, or if he there's many. That's why I'm interested to ask him.
Me too. I mean, again, I've had a lot of people, I've had a lot of topics. I've talked about the dogman, phenomena. I've talked about shapeshifters with Nick Redfern. I've talked about a lot of different topics, but I've never actually, like, we had a little bit when we were talking about shapeshifters. We talked about dogmen and werewolves, but not a whole lot. But I've never had a guest on that either believes he's a werewolf or lives as a werewolf. And see, I don't even know. Again, this is going to be very informational for me, because I have, like you said, it could go many different directions. I mean,
I'm just hoping he's not a whiny little bitch like Larry Talbot was in the 40s. Oh, it's a full moon tonight. I'm gonna be an animal.
get a cage. Maybe they just, like, maybe that's part of the whole thing. I don't know. Like, you have to be handcuffed. I mean, you could probably just tell the person you're with it, just handcuff me tonight, and let's do it a little,
Yes.
let's role play a little different. But I don't know. Some people really get into this stuff. I'm telling you, this whole extreme haunt stuff, I don't even know how it landed in the whole genre of the paranormal, because there's nothing paranormal about it. There's something very disturbing about it, because I don't know that I would pay to go and have somebody beat the crap out of me.
Well,
Uh,
it's it goes. It also the tradition also goes back and also goes back in history in all different geographic locations. The Native Americans have their traditions of communing with animals, communing with the wild, and you have in Eastern Europe you have tales of werewolves, of men that would become, or they would become a wolf overnight. They would screw the wolves in the packs that were in the fields. Then they would wake up and go back to their wives. There's been stories of it since forever. It can, and if he is that, I would, that brings up all sorts
that
of
would
different.
be a first, boy. Oh boy, I'd have an exclusive like no other. Like, I have an exclusive either way, but I'm like just itching to know, well, which one it is, and the explanation, and how him and Gia connected, because he's actually, I'm going to pull this up. He is self-proclaimed werewolf. His name is Draven, and he's the royal guard to the Queen of Memphis.
Okay.
So
She's the Queen of Memphis.
and that's obviously her royal guard.
Sorry, yes.
So obviously that's how he's in the royal court. So that's probably.
He wears the royal muzzle.
I wonder if he has a dog collar.
I wouldn't doubt it. But it goes. But I would say that I'm sure that if he wears it, it looks great.
Well, I'm sure, but I mean, that would, like, to me, I think that would probably be would be part of it, right?
It has to be.
Like maybe with your initials or something on it.
Yeah. Although I don't know.
Your phone number, an emergency phone number in case G or somebody takes too much blood and you pass out and they need to call someone for you.
Please, I'm not really a wolf. I don't belong in the zoo. I actually live at 234 Evergreen Terrace.
Exactly. Just take me back to my owner. Oh my gosh, this is going to be an interesting show. Again, hey, it's Halloween Eve. Well, actually, right about the time that the show ends, it'll actually be Halloween in your neck of the woods, because it's 3 hours later than me.
Halloween. Yes, it's always Halloween here, and Halloween is about the candy.
I know. Well, I have to be an actress, I guess, tomorrow. So every year, my co-founder of my group, and she's a psychic medium as well. We've been friends for almost 10 years. And every year, her and every homeowner in a little cul-de-sac all do competing haunted houses. So she goes all out. She's got animatronics and the lights and the smoke, the fog machines and the whole 9 yards. So last year she had me dress as the girl from The Ring. And so we went and we got me a long nightgown from the thrift store, and we put blood all over it. And then we wet my hair and I just put it all in front of my face. We did my makeup to make me have dark circles around I look just like her, right? And then I went and I sat on this big utility box in between the two houses. And we found a creepy Jack in the Box. So I would sit on the utility box, and then I would just be sitting there, and then as soon as people came, I would start turning the crank on the Jack in the Box. And everybody was looking, thinking I was an animatronic because they couldn't see my face and they could just see through the hair. And then all of a sudden, when it would pop, I would jump off the utility box and I would scare the crap out of them. And people absolutely loved me. They were coming, taking live video. This year, they were going to our house asking if the creepy woman from The Ring was going to be here again this year, that I was so great. So she's like, well, I'm not sure. So of course we had to do something different this year, and gotta love my girl, but why I let her pick what she wants me to dress up as, because it's her Halloween thing. And so this year she decided that I had to be this creepy girl clown with the big butcher knife with blood all over it. And I don't like clowns either. And I hate clowns just about as bad as I hate haunted dolls, or just dolls in period. So we had to go and get the outfit, and I got the mask. I'm going to do my hair all down again, put blood all over me. But I kind of came to grips with it, and I'm like, it's so much better to be on the scaring side of it.
Yes.
I would rather just be an actor in a haunted house every year, and then I could do themed haunted houses because I could work on the other side. I just am not good at going through them. And I don't even think it's about the haunted house, because that part isn't really scary. What's scary is the people jumping out at me, chasing me, all in my personal bubble space. Except one girl this year at Cemeterium that I just went to on Friday night. She did some back bend, turn around, get on her hands and knees, and then she just bolted for me. And she had these contacts. Oh my God. It looked something right out of a 3D scary movie. I literally had to stop in the middle of the haunted house in the middle of the tour and get my breath, because it was horrible. She had to have been the best one there. She really scared the crap out of me. But yeah, I think that I'm much better suited for the whole actress side of it, and be an
Yeah,
actor instead of.
I'm never really as afraid inside the house when they're jumping out and running after me as I am outside of the house after I've not paid admission and they're running after me and chasing me. That's when I usually get the fear.
Well, the worst part of it this year was that, so for both houses, I did them last year, first time since I was a teenager, and I failed miserably. In fact, one of them, the Preston Castle Boys Reformatory School, is actually a real haunted house. It's a boys' reformatory, very, very haunted, very active. The kids seem to get a kick out of this stuff. So they do this themed haunted house in the real haunted house every year. And so last year it was creepy enough because I, for years, was a docent there and gave tours. So I like knew the whole place, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy if I'm going to do any of them. Like I've got this one in the bag. And I got there, it was dark. They had changed everything up. I didn't know where I was at. I was discombobulated. I was running out the indoors and in the outdoors, and they were trying to tell me to go the other way, and people were calling my name, and it was bad. And so they counted my scream throughout the tour and the video and made a promo for the haunt out of it.
There you go. Famous scream. Like
Oh, it
blowout.
was horrible. It was like 44 screams in like a 25-minute period. It was pretty bad. I screamed. I even used one of my camera guys. I made him like get in front of me and be my guide. And so I was using him like, and I was turning him so that he would see the people jump out first, because I knew there was somebody around every single corner. That's how many people were in there. And so I think I'm going to be smart. I'm going to push him into the actor this way, and I'm going to run down the hall this way. But I told you I'm discombobulated. So I I push him into the actor, and I turn and I run to go down the other way and realize that it's a mirror, and I run smack into it. It's not another hallway, it's just a mirror. Smacked right into it. Oh, they got even, and then they had to even point that out. Oh, yeah, she ran into the mirror, they said. So this time I figured, okay, I've gone through it. They wanted me to do a rematch. And I thought,
Well,
okay, now I know
I'm
what it
sure
looks like. Huh?
I'm sure Marie would say that that was some sort of an instant karma because here you are. First of all, think about it. You pushed your cameraman into the impending threat, and
That's
you
their
ran
job.
away. Right, and you ran away into. No, their job is to take pictures. You pushed him into the oncoming threat, and then you ran into yourself because it's a mirror. So Marie Vargas, the Hollywood witch, would proclaim that that is some kind of instant karma.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it might be right, but that's okay. I learned a little bit. So this year when I got the rematch, I said, "Oh, but this time I'm roll."
I think I missed you.
Everybody, all the actors in front of him, our agreement was, let me know when something was coming. He did it his own
Oh,
way, and I ended up having people sneak up and scare me. It was all bad. It was all bad. That's all I can say about it. So anyway, this year I might have to trip you. I might have to push you into them, like whatever it takes for me to escape. That's what your job is this year, because obviously I wasn't very clear last year when I said this, or they just didn't listen. So there's going to be no surprises this time, I said. So you know what happens. But Renee
I
had his own little plan, so he kind of screwed me anyway. He still let him get me. He was no help whatsoever. He got scared a few times though. I that was the good part. At least I saw I wasn't the only person who was scared.
you've just given me the idea for a perfect haunted house attraction. Just 100 you. Because someone like you running around scared of things is much more dangerous and frightening than any makeup zombie that that we'll see on TV. I would be
It was
running away
bad,
from you a
Tony.
lot faster. Yes, I'm more afraid of you. Yes,
I was scared of my shadow. I got scared of the air gun that was like they kept
and you're in the
squirting me
danger.
with. I felt like I was in the danger zone. I was even scared when I was going through things that weren't going to scare me. I don't even Renee scared me at one point. I told him, if I see you jump, I said, don't jump. When you jump, it scares me. So his smart ass decided to jump and it scared me. And he's like, well, you told me not to jump. I said, when you jump, I think there's something scary in front. You can't be doing that to me. And before you knew it, I ended up in front of him, mostly through it, trying to get out. All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour, so we're going to take a quick break. If you are on YouTube, you will stick around and listen to us throughout the hour. We're going to just grab our uh, guest back on and we'll have video when we come back. If you're on the Spreaker, you're going to have probably about 6 to 8 minutes of dead air. Feel free to go get yourself something to drink, something to eat, whatever you'd like, and we will be right back. You're listening to Paranormal Connections on the UPRN Talk Radio Network, 107.7 out of New Orleans. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Paranormal Connections. We are back for the last half hour of the show. Actually, our break took a little bit longer. We were having technical difficulties trying to get our vampire and werewolf uh, couple back on. So we're going to work on that behind the scenes. And so until then, Tony, it's you and I again.
Yes, it seems that technology is much, much more frightening. Skype is more frightening than werewolves and vampires put together.
Absolutely. Technology.
You're afraid of people. I'm afraid of Skype.
Well, I'm afraid of technology too. I don't really do well with technology for whatever reason. It's me and technology don't get along well. Nothing. I don't.
Do you short out circuits because you're technically charged?
Yes.
Yes.
Gia, we got you.
Gia. We missed you again.
Hi.
Hi.
Going on and why it won't work properly.
Well, it's okay. We got you on now. If you want to hit your video button, you should be able to go with live video.
Okay, I'll turn that on now then.
All right, perfect.
Yes.
Okay,
There you go. There you are.
Hi.
Hey.
Hold on, I need to get in the light. Right. There we go.
There you go.
Oh, beautiful. You look beautiful.
So let me turn this camera around.
You look like a queen, Gia.
Thank you. So, sorry. Here is Goddess Rosemary.
Goddess Rosemary. Goddess Rosemary is Tony. How are you?
Tony Sokol.
You're on with Christina George's Paranormal.
And we've got, hold on, let me turn this up a little bit. It's about as loud as I can get it. And we've got High Elder Walter Warlock with her. It's Tony Sokol.
Oh, nice.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. She wanted to show you her crown that I made her.
Oh, you made that? That's beautiful.
Yeah, here, come over here in the light. Yes, I did. And it is lovely and perfect on her.
Everything.
And wait, go forward a little bit into the light. Into the light.
Oh, wow. That is beautiful.
Wow, that's
and she looks lovely as always.
So what does that represent?
That is her crown. When I made it, she wanted something primal and kind of primitive and very Lilith-like, and so it's very spiky, and it has the two dragons with the ruby eyes on it, and to me it represents more or less what she is to all of us. She's both loving and destructive. It's good and bad and light and dark and everything in one being, as a goddess should be.
Nice. That is beautiful.
Isn't it?
Thank you.
It's gorgeous. And she made my dress.
Oh yeah, the dress too I made.
Oh.
Oh wow.
That is.
She looks
beautiful.
Lovely.
So this is a sexy VIP party.
If Goddess Rosemary's here, it's always a sexy party. What? Oh yeah, and she got a new bracelet from Airship Dollhouse.
Oh, nice.
High Elder Leah made these.
These are from High Elder Leah. And
so is that normal
the
for
Rosemary Ankh? This is the official Goddess Rosemary
The
Ankh.
official.
Oh wow.
Yes, Goddess Rosemary Ankh.
So are things very specialized, Gia, for different people?
Do what?
Are there things very specialized or customized for each person?
Yes.
Absolutely. Everyone
Yes.
is unique. Totally unique. Just
love that.
For that person. And they fit that person. She just picks up their whole persona and her art goes into it. It's amazing. And the energy of it is amazing. To wear.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
So
I'm going to
go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Goddess Rosemary has to leave.
Oh, okay.
Bye. She'll be back.
See you later.
So, this is me tonight. I am I'm in one of my dresses, and you were talking about the Ankhs. This is the hold on. This is the House of Lore Ankh, which is the one that I am part of. If you can see
that's
that.
Beautiful. Yeah, I can definitely see it. That's beautiful.
So let's bring. Oh, this is Draven. This is my wolf
Draven.
guard. He was
Well,
away
How
from
are
now.
you?
we
You've
have
been
been
wanting to
waiting
talk with.
to talk to you.
Oh,
Boy,
she's
oh
talking to
boy.
you.
I bet y'all have.
We have.
Man, we've been having a whole conversation before you guys got here because I have never, ever, ever had anybody on my show that is a werewolf. And I understand you are, correct?
Yes.
Hold on one second, and we'll go somewhere quieter so you can talk to
Okay.
him. Christine Young's setting up right now, and we don't want to be in her way.
Okay.
So we will
Oh.
go. We
We'll
will
talk to her
go. Is
after.
Brandy upstairs?
I don't think no, she's
Okay, we'll go out on the balcony. So this is the castle. Here is Airship Dollhouse, and they're set up.
Nice.
Everybody say hi to Tony Sokol and Christina. We are on live streaming right now. And there's Wynn, the King of the North. King of the
Nice.
North.
North. You know nothing, Jon
The
Snow.
Ungrounded. That's right. And we're gonna go upstairs and go out on the balcony so we can talk to you guys a little easier.
Perfect.
So I have to warn you, my phone may die soon, so we might have to switch over to a different phone. But okay, so there we
Your phone
go.
is undead.
Okay, so
Okay,
go ahead and
Driven.
ask what you want.
So,
He can hear you now.
so why don't you explain a little bit about being a werewolf? I mean, like, do you shapeshift? Is it just like a way of thinking or a way of living? I mean, I've never interviewed a werewolf, so I got to get all the inside info.
shape shifting, not so much.
Okay.
The old days, maybe, but nowadays it's a little different. I guess you could say. Me, I don't belong to a pack, any group, any family. I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I guess you could say more like a mercenary for hire in a way.
Do not say you are a mercenary. Just a joke.
No, but no. Thing about it is mostly is the primal thing, being the constant aggression, the constant looking for that constant adrenaline rush. You know, and there's never. This is hard. This is hard to talk about.
It's okay. Just talk about it.
How about this? Why don't you ask me? Is there a specific thing that better?
Okay, let's start with the lunar cycles. Let's start with the lunar cycles. Are you affected by the moon? Right? Not
Are you
just the
affected by
full
the
moon, but
Yes, the moon definitely. The energy. That's the closest thing to primal that you could get is the moon, and you know the full moon, the hunt. You know, a lot of hunters all throughout ancient civilizations, cultures, all use the moon and the stars and all that to hunt. And then also the moon. You always think whenever you hear about werewolves, wolves or animals or dogs, dogs howl at the moon. They feel that inner primal instinct, you know, something that's ancient. And it's not something really you can explain. It's just something that you feel.
okay. Do you
Or
hunt? Do you hunt?
What? Do you
Do you
hunt?
hunt?
Yeah.
but not for fun.
Not for fun. For profit?
It's not something that because hunting is more of a something a whole kind of I guess you could say
Sacred.
sacred. Yes, that's exactly the word. Because there's more to it. A true hunter would know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There's a lot that goes into an actual hunt. The preparation, the mindset, and then the initial kill and all that, everything. I mean, there's a bond.
Let's try to avoid talking about killing.
Hey, it is
Uh,
what it is. I
It
mean,
is what
hey,
it is.
this is
Now,
fascinating.
have you actually been with other wolves, actual wolves, and how did they react to you?
Have you been with other wolves? Have you ever been with other wolves?
I have before, many years ago, but those days are behind me. I don't
Okay.
get much. So I don't talk much about those things.
Well, how do you react with the canine?
How do you react with canines?
Very well, but there's always that alpha male challenge.
Okay.
Ways, you know, if they sense feared, same thing with dogs. Whenever dogs come up to other dogs, if they sense fear, they use that to initiate their dominance. And it's the same thing.
Okay. Do you have? Does it affect your senses? Are you more keen in your sense
I
of
have a
smell?
very, very heightened sense of smell, and I
Okay.
can hear very low frequency noises
Oh.
very well, very well. My agility, my speed, it's all different. It's all very, very different.
Were you athletic?
Huh?
Were you athletic?
Are you athletic?
Oh, very athletic.
Very. Hold on. Show him the.
All right.
There you go.
I have to push up my hand.
Okay. Hold on. Actually, you guys are gonna get a better view.
Okay.
Oh, my listeners are gonna love this one.
Oh, now we're talking.
I need
Now,
to take a screenshot. Ching.
Yes. Now, can you sprout hair though? That's what we want. We want the actual hair to sprout.
Yeah,
No.
No.
I like it just the way it is. Gia,
I'm running 2 miles a day.
Huh?
well, I was going to ask you, how did the two of you meet? So, I'm thinking like in the movies, right? Like the whole vampires and the werewolves don't really get along usually. They're like kind of mortal enemies. So
there are
what's it?
actually a group of them, usually refer to themselves as gangrels, that are wild, feral, and they don't really run with packs. They go lone, and eventually end up becoming part of the community. There has always been sort of a forbidden romance, I guess you could call it, between our two cultures and our two kinds. Kindred is kindred. It's just two different sides of the spectrum, and it's really easy for the two to meet if you have the right circumstances. And with him and I, we just happened to have the right circumstances, and things went really well, and rest is history.
Oh my gosh. So since he's your guard, like, does he do the blood rituals with you? Is he part of those? Or, I mean, how involved is he?
Do you think we should tell him about last night? Okay. He did. He was the one that was in the wine bath bacchanalia with me in the amazing shower.
Yay! Good for you, man.
Okay.
Good for you, man.
Like he's like, yes.
I know. I see him. Tony's face is all red.
I know. He's like, oh yeah. We were talking about this because like neither one of us had actually ever interviewed somebody who lived as a real werewolf. So neither one of us even knew what to expect. Or now, oh, I have a question now. I don't want to be disrespectful, so please in no way think that any of my questions are disrespectful. It's just stupidity and the fact that I don't know anything about it. But do you actually like have a dog collar or anything like that you identify with?
Actually, I have my dog tags.
See, I knew it.
Do you serve?
When I say dog tags, I refer to military.
Oh, well.
That's the only thing that I've ever had that were actually tags.
I think she's talking about like a mark of ownership kind of collar.
No.
Right. But what actually when you served, did your animal nature bring you something as a soldier?
Did your animal nature bring you something as a soldier when you served?
I think it did. It assisted in a lot of the physical things, but also helped me be a natural born leader.
Okay. So if you're
makes me a little bit of a lone wolf because
what about
for a challenge?
And on the field, would you be able to sense things better? Did that help with how you sensed?
Would it help?
Did I think that it heightened my senses, helped me in situations? Yes, many situations, more than I can count. I'm very grateful for. Let's just say this: there's been a lot of close calls.
I'm glad that you came out of him. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to talk about him.
He said he wants to talk about it more sometime.
Okay.
I know. I said I'm glad he came out of it because then otherwise you wouldn't be able to talk about him. But
Oh,
yes,
he said he's glad you
but
came
yes,
out of it.
yes,
because
actually
we don't
would.
talk about it.
All right. Is the relationship to blood different between the vampire and the werewolf?
Yes.
Is the wolf relationship to blood different from the vampire relationship to blood?
I would say yes and no. It's
Hold this right here for 1 second. Right? No. Hold the case. Yeah. There you go. Hold that right there for a second. Okay.
She's doing something behind the camera that we should be seeing. All the excitement things are happening over here, and all we see is his ear.
they hear all the commotion downstairs.
Yeah, hold on. I'll give you guys a look at what's going on downstairs right now. There's a bunch of commotion happening.
Oh,
So we have some Sahajas and the King of the North again, and we've got our merchandise vendors down here in this gorgeous dining room.
it's very ornate.
Hold on 1 second. Everybody say hi to Tony Sokol and Christina. We're live right now.
Christina George. So who decorated?
Huh?
Who decorated?
Oh, I don't know. Whoever owns the castle.
Okay.
I don't own this thing. I wish I did, but I don't. It's lovely.
You got some amazing stuff there.
It is. This is some really beautiful stuff. Give me 1 second. Hi, Win.
Oh, she disconnected us. She'll call back.
She said
Oh my gosh, Tony.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That was interesting.
It
I
was.
didn't really know what he was going to say.
Well, that's why we talk to. That's why we ask him questions. I want to know what he has to say.
I know. Like we're gonna have to talk to Gia after this, and we're gonna have to like bring her back on the show, the two of them back on the show, to just do like a whole show together with them. Like it would be so amazing. I'm sure there'd be lots of questions.
Aware of Vamp Tango.
I know. And I really wish you would have had a chance to answer your last question because again, I was privy to the information because I got to see the bathtub in the bathroom, and it's this amazing marble shower bath combination, and you could see the bottle of wine on the side. You could see the remnants from the where in the bathtub where the blood and the wine was at. I was a little freaked out, and then that's when she told us that that they had their little bloodbath last night, and I would wonder. I mean, I wonder how he feels about that. I mean, obviously he's pretty comfortable because he's doing it, but I mean, I wonder if it's again like the connection between the blood is different between a werewolf and somebody living as a vampire.
Right. They say that's I wanted to hear how he was going to define that as well. It's a shame she ran away.
Oh, I think I just saw her get.
We can tackle them now.
Hold on.
Trap that werewolf.
Well, it's interesting that no, not yet. That he hears low frequencies better.
I was thinking that too because the dog whistles are high, but
Yeah. So that's. I mean, I don't really have anything to compare it to other than dogs in movies.
Well,
so I mean.
Right, but Marilyn Manson must sound great to him because it's all bass and bottom drums.
Right.
That must be exciting. Actually, that's what I want to ask him. But it's like, so when you listen to the music, do you really get into the the tuba? Yes, I get into the tuba.
Yeah, all those low frequencies. Yeah, I mean that is so interesting. I mean, I know Gia said for him not to go into the whole hunting and killing, aspect, but I so wish he would have. We're gonna have to have a talk with her and have him come on because I'd love to actually hear about his hunts, and
Those
what
are
they
the
involve.
things. Yeah. I'm sorry. What do you mean?
No, go ahead.
Those are the things I was wondering. I wanted to ask when he was in the field as a soldier, if that was some sort of instinctual thing that came in that was part of the hunt. If he, it was because he made it ritualistic, and it seemed more like it would be something instinctual. So I wanted to get him to talk about that. So remind me when he comes back. But I gotta ask.
Well, what I'm thinking is she had said that her phone was about to die, so I'm thinking that her phone probably went dead. So she said she was going to have to go get another phone to call us back. So we'll keep an eye. Hopefully, she gets. We still have like 20 minutes, so she should be. We should be.
She's in an orgy.
Hey, well, I'm not going to say. I think she'd rather be in the orgy than be on live
Yeah,
stream
she
right
found
now.
it,
I have
and
to
that's
say.
it. She's having too much fun to come back. And, oogie, oogie.
Well, I mean, so again, now this also interests me too because again, it's always been folklore and legend that vampires and zombies and werewolves and like none of them get along. Like they're all in their own things, stay their own self. And now we've got the multi nations. Everybody, the zombies are hanging out with the vampires are hanging out with the werewolves. Like, do you think that it's like again that there's just a lot of people who branch off of like the subcultures and just kind of create what kind of groups they would want and the rules that they would want? Because I did see how she was talking about how in certain organizations that you're in, say if you're a vampire, like you're not allowed to talk about, drinking blood, but yet you have a friend who we're going to be bringing on at some point in the near future that does drink blood and is okay with talking about it. So, do you think that, like your friend and like people maybe like him that they just it's a very um like a small circle of people that have these rules, and when they don't, it's almost like religion, when somebody says, well,
Yeah.
I kind of like religion but I don't like this part of what they
Well,
follow, so we'll start our own group.
I think a lot of it got codified um, by the when the communities came together and there was the internet. A lot of it became codified so that I guess to stop people from getting arrested. Really, I know that in New York they actually passed laws that said you couldn't have a sex and a blood act in one act. They were trying to close down S&M Club, but I was doing horror theater, so how do you separate that? We want to have sex and blood. It's a vampire show. You have to have them together. Um, you can't talk about it because they will come down and they'll close down your clubs. That's basically the real reason that they won't talk about it. Other than that, is probably a lot of them don't actually drink blood. You see, the vampire community, even someone that I spoke to that was heavy in the vampire community, was saying that they drink True Blood, which is a carbonated drink, which has no blood in it, and it's not even a blood substitute. So I
Ooh.
wonder, it's a lot of it is, as I said, I consider it role playing, but there's nothing wrong with role playing as long as there's good music behind it and you can dance. Really?
I guess, well, I mean, I definitely could see that. I mean, where again do you think that like because I'm finding the more research I do and the more people that I talk to that are in the especially like the underground. I see in California, it's not so underground. I mean, like in LA and in San Francisco, there's a huge, vampire culture going on there, and they're no longer underground. They're doing big events. And even here, like I was telling you about the vampire ball that they have out here every year, it started out in a very, very small bar in the downtown. Like everything that has to do with vampires, zombies, the paranormal, it's always done in the old part of Sacramento, which they've got all these underground bars and stuff like that, and that's where they would do these events. And now it is like grown so big that it's held at the fairgrounds every year because they can have, in the words of thousands of people, that attend. So it's, here, well, maybe it's just California. I mean, we're the weirdest state I think out there. We're just, you never know what's going to happen here. They'll let you have vampire and S&M clubs, but they don't want you to do ghost walks. Like it's like it's always something
What?
strange or weird.
Yeah. Why can't they do ghost walks of all things?
I mean they can. I mean, but that some of the places around here that they've tried. I mean, they're very popular. Like I have a
Right.
friend that does one in Napa Valley where I grew up, Sonoma area, the Vacaville, California area, and I know some that are up in the hills more. But then there's other locations that won't allow it either, even though the towns have a very, very large haunted history. They really kind of
See,
turn their nose up to it.
ghosts need exercise too. They can't all be
Absolutely.
Casper and they can't all be cherubs. They really should be. They should be allowed to walk around. They should even have their own. Like in New York, they have bike lanes. You know, they should have their own. They should
Be
be.
able to make
Let 'em-
some
let 'em walk.
friends, have some
Yes,
block
let them walk.
parties and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree. It's not enough fun. I mean, whenever I go, I've always said I'm not going to cross over anytime in the near future. I know people who can cross me over when I'm ready, but I want to have a little bit of fun. Well, not a little bit. I'm gonna have a whole lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
going to haunt people. I'm going to turn teach the other side how to turn up and have a good party. Even if you're dead, like that's the best time. You don't have to worry about hangovers or, feeling stiff the next morning.
I'm just dead.
Yeah, exactly. Just dead. But we're gonna have, we're gonna be party spirits. I'm
There
gonna
you go.
get them all the whole party train, celebrate the. Sorry. This is what happens
Hey,
when you have a haunted house tour to go through. Then you have a Halloween party and you drink too much tequila and you sleep all day yesterday away. I didn't even wake up until like 9 p.m. And then I was like awake until 4 and then back up at 6.
so if like Beetlejuice, if we when you before you pass over, if we call Christina George 3 times, you're going to run around as if you're afraid of other things and scare us by being scared.
No, I'm going to learn to scare everybody. I'm going to take the time to learn that, master it right now so I can scare the hell out of people. Not just on Halloween.
Well, cameramen are already afraid of you because you push them into things.
Well, I'm going to push them over now. I'm going to be pushing things off the shelves. I'm going to make them think they got demons and poltergeists. I'm
I
going
would
to
have
keep my team
suggested you.
busy. Hey, it's not my fault. They started it. If they just
Yes.
would have done their jobs correctly, kept me safe, not let all the actors sneak up on me. And then to boot, it would have even been as bad because I could have like probably believed the whole BS story that they just got around Renee, but you can hear him laughing as he lets people go past. So he was busted. I didn't see any of this until I was editing all the video, but I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I got something for you. And he got out of having to go through with me last year because our other camera guy couldn't make it. So Renee had to. So he did it again. It was the second thing. And then he was letting clowns get me and stuff. So I was ready this year. I was ready for him. I told him, far ahead of time what my plans were and what his job was just to go in front of me and be prepared.
Protect.
Like, not I didn't even care about him protecting because I knew he wasn't going to do it. I just said, just be prepared. If I have to trip you, if I have to push you into them, if I have to make you fall so they all fall down and I run out the exit, like it is whatever I have to do this time. This is the
If I have
consequence
to
for it.
if I have to impel you with this tripod, deal with it.
Hey, it was a simple request last time. And nobody likes to listen to me. So I'm just like, okay, that's all right. I'm gonna get him. But like I said, I was happy because he actually jumped and got scared quite a few times, and that was even better. I will tell you though, we had the lights from the cameras. If it would have been that I got to go through, because most haunted houses, first of all, they're not going to allow you to videotape inside. Second of all, they're not going to let you use, the light in there because of all the actors are adjusted to, the darkness, and then all of a sudden you come through with this bright light and it's making them see stars. That's why you always see the back of me running instead of the front because I can't see where I'm going. I'm like they were blinding me last time. So I was like, nope, just follow me from the behind. I'm going to be going through this as quickly as possible and it won't be that long, so it'll be fine. Preston Castle, I was through pretty damn quick. I have to say, I think I made it record time. Um, but I still don't think I won. I still think, I don't know that I screamed 44 times. I haven't counted it because I've been so busy. I haven't even had a chance to go over all the video, but I know that it was a lot. And I was actually more scared probably the second time than the first time, because not only did like the anticipation of having to go in there, because they always make me wait, and then I have to go in and watch these safety videos which never apply to me. It's the rules of the haunted house saying you can't run, you can't have video cameras, you can't have a flashlight, and you can't curse. I broke every single rule that they had. It even made me want to smoke a cigarette because they said that there was no smoking allowed, and I don't even smoke. So it was pretty bad. So they want me to come back for the third time, like third time is a charm, and go through it without my cameras, because they have the infrared cameras, the night vision cameras set up throughout the haunt. So they just want to capture it on their film so that I can't see what's coming. And I don't think I could do that. I'm a baby. I'm telling you, that was too damn scary with the light on. I kept making, you keep hearing me in the video, where's my camera guy? Where's my light guy? Get over here so I can see what's coming. Point it that way. It was bad. Pretty darn embarrassed, but what can I say? Well,
Yes.
I'm a little disappointed that we're not going to get our guest back. We only have about 7 minutes, but what we will definitely do, now that Halloween will be over and things will calm down for everybody, I will get some dates and set. Oh, sorry. Set Gia and
The
her.
vampires are showing you.
I don't know. Maybe I'm drained. Oh, that was another question I want. I'll finish what I was going to say is, but we'll get Gia and her werewolf friend back on the show, and I think that you have to come back on and guest host with me again, because I think there's so many unanswered questions that we still need to know, and this will give the listeners some time to send me in some questions that they have as well, and we can
Yes,
do it that way.
questions are key. I love asking questions. It's the
Yes.
most fun thing in the world.
Yes, and he seemed, pretty open to answer whatever we had. So maybe we can convince Gia that she can let him tell us about his hunt. I think that's pretty interesting, to be honest.
It is.
But my question to you would be, I noticed that there is a lot of chaos in the vampire culture. There are so many people on so many different sides of the vampire culture that, one's trashing the other and the other one trashes it's just like, what do you think that's all about?
Okay, that's all my fault. Every bit of it. It's all my fault. The end of Vampire Theater, at the end of every show, like they used to say, La Commedia Finita, we used to say, chaos prevails. I don't know why nobody gets along. Usually, it's the stupidest things. It's a lot better now that it's only social media interaction than it used to be among the more serious occult vampires before the scene came out, when the things actually spilled into actual violence. But the chaos of it is because there are so many different personalities, and everybody is in a pissing match, really, when it comes down to it. Everybody
Sounds like
really
the paranormal.
It is. Every community is pretty much the same. All of the little cliques will form, and all of the little petty things will come out. And oh, you can't talk about this, but oh my God, you talked about that, and how did you steal this from me? It's always going to happen, and it's my job to stir those flames and make sure that they continue to be chaotic. Because the more chaotic, Marie and I are dark workers. We keep it dark, and as the darker that they get, the better it is for all of us.
That's true. And Dark Workers Live, when is that going to premiere?
I believe it will be the Wednesday. It's the first Wednesday of December. I don't have a calendar. I think it's this. I don't have a calendar
I'm
in
going to
front
pull
of
it up.
me.
I believe it's the 6th,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to have you guys on the last Monday of the show. You have here, I got it.
You're having us on the 27th. That's the Monday.
Yes, and
then,
it's December 6th is when you guys are going to
okay.
debut. So
So
we
that,
will be having you back then, and I will be in touch, and we'll try to get Gia and the werewolf guy back on. But I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me tonight and co-hosting. So I look forward to having you back.
thank you. And I should have known it because Tammy keeps making all these posters and they look great. And I keep forgetting the dates.
I know. Well, I went over it all with Marie the other day, and that's my memories like that. All right, everybody. So this is Christina George along with Tony Sokol. We appreciate you joining us on Paranormal Connections radio show tonight. You are listening to us on the UPRN Talk Radio Network, 107.7 out of New Orleans. You can also catch the archives on iHeartRadio, iTunes, podcast, SoundCloud, YouTube. You name it, we're out there. You can find us. Just Google us. Make sure you like and subscribe on whatever channel you are watching us on and listening to us on. And make sure you can always check us out on the YouTube live channel for the United Public Radio YouTube channel. Make sure, again, to like and subscribe so you can know when we're on live. All right, everybody. Have a great week. And I'll see you guys on Thursday with Renee Chavez on Top Secret News. Good night, everyone.
Introducing Hardee's $5 All-Star Meals. Loaded with satisfying classics. For just $5, you get a charbroiled double cheeseburger hot dog and, oh yeah, fries, drink, and a fresh baked cookie. Or a double cheeseburger, a spicy chicken sandwich, and what? The fries, drink, cookie thing again? Or hand-breaded tenders and, spoiler alert, fries, drinks, and cookies for days, y'all. All for just $5. The $5 All-Star Meals. Stop by Hardee's and get yourself one today. Price of participation may vary. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Tax not included.